They'll walk quite happily and quite confidently on the ground. Their toes aren't too long to get in their way. And they spread quite evenly across the ground as well. Now another feature with raptors, their feet obviously have good protection with scales over their legs and their toes. So that means they get good protection from animals if they're trying to catch reptiles. Lizards can produce very hard bites, like bearded dragons for example. But also a lot of our snakes are venomous in Australia. So it is extra protection for these birds. Now she's going to rouse herself, just shake herself, get all prepared, and when she's ready, it might take us a little while this morning, she's not looking overly keen, but basically they start wandering around looking for objects once they come across an emu nest. Now, believe it or not, these birds have been recorded chasing emus off the nest. All they need to do, you saw how she sort of enlarged herself, fluffed her feathers out, they can put their wings out to actually make themselves look quite intimidating. At the moment, with her feathers up at the back of the head, she's reasonably relaxed. Once they go down close to the back of the neck, they seem to be a little bit more alert. Very much the opposite to what you find with something like a wedge-tailed eagle or eagles in general. When their feathers are up around their head, they're usually quite aggravated. It may be protecting a food source. So very much the buzzard is the opposite in this case. So in this case with the buzzard, like I said, on the ground, once they've found themselves a nest, they may intimidate a male emu off the nest. They'll then start searching around for different objects. Now, objects might include anything from pebbles, rocks, sticks, leaves that may be around. Whatever she chooses to do, that's how they can actually get into these objects, these eggs. Pretty much anything that's round, so the eggs, obviously that sort of oval shape. We've seen them actually, her picking up rocks and dropping them on the ground rocks as well. So, not much of a good food source, but they can certainly do that. She's having a bit of a look around. She's ready, there's not much I can do until she's decided when she's ready to pick up the rock and have a go and throw it at. But usually in the morning she's a little bit slower than the afternoon, so we'll see how we go. Now of course this bird, believe it or not, is 17 years old. Now we know it's an adult. The face and the breast, nice and black feathers basically all over. As a young bird, you might see on the back of her neck there that light brown, that sort of brown colour. Now the juveniles actually have that all over. And it takes about 5 years until they reach their adult colour. So in between that time, you'll see these flecks of black feathers starting to come through. So that's how they start to sort of age a juvenile to an adult. In this case, once they've reached that full adult coloration from 5 years on, you probably wouldn't guess exactly how old the bird is. We know this bird's 17 because she's been here for almost that long, and we know where she's come from. So for this bird here, she's a much older bird, but you can identify the adults and the juveniles quite easily. And the white window patches you saw earlier when I held her up with her wings out, they're much more obvious with the adults, really white in coloration. So the young ones tend to have more of off-white patch, but you can see it. Now with birds of prey also, raptors, you can look at their tails, their wing shapes, their wing patterns, to actually help you identify each individual species. With these particular birds here, these black-breasted buzzards, of course, that short square tail and the angle of the wing also can help you as well. Now we mentioned the white patch, and we did see that quite easily. But birds like whistling kites, for example, they're a very common bird of prey up here. They've got these light patches under their wing as well, so you may be mistaken by that. Have a good look at the tail though. Buzzards, of course, short square tail, but of course the whistling kites have a nice rounded tail. We're going to do this morning. Give it a look around. Okay, so with this, I want to give her one more chance to have a go at it. Get a little bit more interest. Get a little bit closer to the egg and see if she's going to have a look at. She's sort of looking partly interested. But basically they'll pick up, like I said, objects. It could be rocks and all sorts of stuff that they may try and break into the egg. And all they actually have to do is chip a hole in the egg itself. And that's all you're going to do. Now she's investigating it a little bit more. So she's starting to show a little more interest. I know it's morning, I know it's cold. We have feathers and good insulation, so she should be pretty nice and warm. But she's picking up